to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Hey, Wholesale Hotline number 148. Things you need to know about wholesaling real estate. I am Brent Daniels. I've got Pace Morby here, Mr. Sub 2. I've got Jamil Damji, Mr. Birthday right here, and he's spending it with all of us. This is absolutely incredible. Happy birthday.
Thanks, man.
How old are you?
44.
4?
I feel like it's my birthday.
Well, 44 on 12/12.
Yeah, because today, after this show, Notary's coming in for a deal that Jamil sold. Well, Kegley sold for me. Bought it for 72, sold it for 160. I don't know what you guys sold it for, but it was a bananas deal in December. December's always the best. You always said it.
You bought
December
it for
is
72
always the best, yes.
and you assigned it to Jamil for 160.
Yeah.
So you guys made $88,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Pretty insane.
There you go.
Yeah, I got a call today because, I've been trying to buy up some, really high-end houses in my neighborhood. Mm-hmm. So there was another house that had been on the market for $1.5 million. I'm already buying one in my neighborhood for $800. Mm-hmm. There was another one down the road that had been on the market for $1.5, and I called them and I had offered them $900, and they were like, "You're out of your mind. That's disrespectful. You live in the same neighborhood. Like, these are your neighbors." And I'm like, I'm not being disrespectful, guys. I'm not being rude. I'm just being completely honest about the current state of the market and the demand. But, take it for what it is. If it's not for you, it's not for you. All love to your client. And then I got a text this morning and said, "All right, my clients are fed up with this situation in the market right now. What's your highest and best?" I said, "Well, my highest and best was 900,000, but because your sellers are fed up and they're ready to take a deal, I'll do 950, but it's got to close before December 31st." And I got another deal.
Wow.
So I'm
awesome.
Are these going to be Airbnbs or what?
They're going to be long-term rentals. Instead of going the Airbnb route, I think I'm just going to play it safe, get a nice family in there. I figured if I allow dogs in the house, because especially at that price point, nobody allows pets.
Them. Yep.
So if I allow dogs in the house, and I could probably get an additional $1,000, $1,500 a month for the dog tax. So I think I can probably pull $7,000 a month out of those.
Awesome.
And I'll rent them out and enjoy life. And if my wife ever gets mad at me, I'll have a place to stay
Just down the street.
just down the road.
That's it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Zach Pate. Welcome, Zach Pate. He just closed a 12-unit multifamily deal using creative finance. No money out of his pocket, not even $1 out of his
Zach,
pocket.
here's for you, brother. Come on.
Exciting
Love
stuff.
it.
What did he close? How much did he make?
Yeah, break that down. Real quick.
It's a 12-unit multifamily.
Yeah.
It's what we call a Morby method deal.
Yep.
So a Morby method is where you bring in half the money from a commercial lender, and then the seller finances the other half. So you're into the deal, no money out of pocket.
Love it.
Pretty cool.
Where was it at?
I don't know, Zach, where that deal is. He emailed me about it. We're going to do a YouTube video about it, breaking the whole entire thing down. But I don't know the exact state. It was in the United States. That's
there you
where
go.
it was.
Zach, let us know.
You know that I heard a really good quote this morning. I don't know why I liked it so much. But I've been, getting back in the gym the last 4 or 5 months, running, doing all the things. I'm really taking care of myself. The one thing I got to get rid of is Diet Coke, but I quit that as of last night.
as he drank like 3 Diet Cokes.
Yeah, everybody else is having alcoholic beverages, and I'm having a Diet Coke. But reading this book, David Goggins, never finished. And he says, when you're trapped in hell, the only way to escape is to face the devil himself. And I was like, ooh, what does that mean? And it was interesting, like looking at, I spoke last week at Jimmy Rex, had only men's like business owners mastermind. I went and spoke there. And it was interesting. Your devil might not be a mindset thing. Your devil might not be enough money. Your devil might not be whatever. But it was interesting. The number one thing I could just tell in that room, their devil was delegation and scaling and building businesses. And these guys were like, well, I'm buying, I'm doing 1 or 2 rental properties on the side every couple of years. I'm like, you're playing small because you guys are doing it all yourself type of thing. Anyway, we're wrapping up the year and I'm looking at both of you guys, business owners I respect. I'm curious, what are the devils you guys are dealing with in your guys' existing businesses right now that you are hoping to face going into the new year? I know you just closed an $88,000 deal.
The flu.
Oh, bro, the flu
Everybody's got
swept
the
through
flu.
everybody.
No.
The flu swept through everybody. But is
Yeah.
it delegation? Is it organization? Is it hiring new people? Is it you got to open up new markets? What's the devil you guys got to face to get out of the situation you're in and be reborn into 2023?
It's funny that you asked the question because I think we actually had our conversation with Satan 2 months ago.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, as the market adjusted, we peeled back the curtain and looked at all the inefficiencies. Kegley's a big company, right?
Very big, yeah.
And so when you grow the way we've
How
grown,
many people? Just so people know.
in our corporate store, we probably, what do you think? We got about 125 people in there?
Easily, yeah.
Easy. And that's corporate stores. And then we got the franchise departments and then all that staff. And, it's huge. And so we sat down and we looked at the inefficiencies that we were dealing with in the company.
Yep.
And we very quickly realized that we literally could turn the volume up on every one of our staff members' activity by about 30 to 40%. And it was interesting because as soon as we understood that, our amazing partner Hunter went and sat in the bullpens with every one of our departments.
That'll do it.
And watched the days go and then restructured new KPIs.
Yeah.
New targets.
Yeah.
And as soon as we were able to do that, it's like the market shift never happened. Our numbers have restored back to pre-market shift values.
Yep.
Our deal volume is insane again. Of course, you're closing a huge deal with us, so you're seeing the profit margins that we're seeing are back to like juicy
$88,000 deal, bro.
88 grand on a deal, and that doesn't even include what we're making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's epic. That's so epic. That's how what you just said about spending time with your team, getting face to face with them, and finding out that it was like the market correction wasn't even happening was what happened to me in 2020 of March. I went into my acquisition team. They were all, there's like the sky is falling, COVID, the world's shutting down. And then I spent 3 days in the office and it was like nothing was actually happening. In fact, we just got deeper deals.
Yeah.
And that's a tough thing. Like the bigger you get, right, the more automated things become, and somebody's got to come in there and kind of recalibrate and reset every once in a while. And bro, I can't sit next to Hunter for 5 minutes without wanting to be a better man. I can't imagine him spending the whole day with people.
And you know what? He did a really good job. And our team is so phenomenal. Our team is so coachable and loving, and they want to do better. They want to grow more. They want to exceed their last limitation. Yeah. And so because you've got that spirit of everybody wanting to be cooperative and the spirit of growth, we saw fantastic stride. We got Denise, one of my Florida
Orlandians.
She's incredible, but she was a part of that. She was a part of watching our KPIs and our metrics pivot. And she's also she's one of our strongest reps that we have amazing. She's incredible. She's Love incredible. But this is what we're seeing. We saw the inefficiencies and it gave us the opportunity to really peel back the curtain and go in and fix things. Yep. And now we're doing it because we have the time.
Love it.
What about you?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot. None of my team owns real estate, owns a lot of real estate.
I love that your mind went there.
Well, I've got my best friends. They're absolutely incredible at what they do. We had to cancel deals in June, July, August. It was 90 days. It was a fist fight. We still got the good ones through, but it was deals that were deals. We lost the deals.
Got it.
Right. And so we were able to get back. Yeah. White shirt. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Somebody get this man a cup of water. Let's pour it all over him.
No, but I keep thinking about this. I keep thinking, like, do you start a fund for the team? Do you start, instead of like Christmas bonuses and these other things, which I think they really like, do you put it into more long-term thinking? Do you set up more? Do you look for these opportunities and go, you know what, guys, every 10th property that we run across, we're going to keep and just make like really good gems in our portfolio of really good areas that we want to buy in, or all come together and collectively buy a multifamily or something like that.
I love
That's something that I'm thinking about, and something that I would have to lean on you and probably some attorney help to figure out.
I literally, so Eric's right here. Eric and myself and Giselle on my media team just had a 3-hour meeting about this exact topic.
Yeah, really?
Literally.
Yeah.
Because my plan was, I want to be a billionaire.
Right.
Not because I want any more money.
Right.
Right. I mean, for heaven's sakes, I think I have the best watch, but the cheapest one. I think my battery will last longer.
Out of the three of us,
You think my battery will last longer?
We don't have batteries.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. You guys are better. But for me, it's not one of us is going to change our lifestyle necessarily. But when you have money coming in, it means you've provided value to the marketplace,
Yes.
right? You getting an $88,000 wholesale deal means you provided value to a homeowner, you provided value to a buyer, you provided value to Kegley.
Yep.
So I want to become a billionaire through acquiring multifamily and single family. So this year, put 56 single family houses in my portfolio and 15 multifamily deals in my portfolio. And what I told my team, there's a select group of them, right? The more executive people on the team, not like people in the Philippines. No offense to the people in the Philippines, but we have a lot of people there.
Yeah.
I'm giving a portion of my portfolio to all of my team members.
Right.
So I look at them and I go, what would if you're in the top 1 percentile, richest people in the world, top 1%, what's their average amount of money that they're retiring with?
$10 million.
$10 million. How did you know that?
Because I am
been
in the
looking.
top 1% of the people in America.
That's
And
interesting.
And I
It was
want to
10 million.
retire.
Yeah.
It was $10 million.
Yeah.
And so I
You
said,
need $10 million to make $100,000 a month.
right.
That's what, if you, at this level, you need $100,000 a month to have a good life.
Right.
And so you need 10 million bucks to make $100,000 a month.
So I basically came up with a mathematical equation to back into that and say my team, the people that are the closest to me,
Yeah.
through the real estate that I buy, will get to that point over the years of me buying real estate. I want to be their retirement plan.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Unreal, dude.
You know?
Amazing.
So
So that's what I'm thinking. But it's also
I
like
love that.
having a culture where I've just been
It's
digging,
we, not me.
Well, I've been digging back into Rich Dad Poor Dad a bunch and just like the fundamentals,
Okay.
right? Just the basic fundamentals of
ghostwriting?
self-employed. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Sorry.
No, I know, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean. I mean, yeah, he came up with a few charts and then, somebody else wrote the book, but it doesn't matter. 40 million copies,
Amazing.
changed all our lives.
Yeah.
Came up with a lot of other people that he's thrown at us over times. And it's just, how do you cultivate just a sense of ownership in the business that they already have, but also that they genuinely want to invest in assets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't want my best friends being our their whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%. When I was with
Or self-employed.
when I was with Eric in Springfield, Illinois, walking our newest acquisition. So just closed 264 units in Springfield, Illinois, seller finance. Today, I also closed 192 units in North Carolina. So just in a 2-week time period, I closed close to 500 units. Pretty gangster, right?
Come on.
Amazing. And how much cash out of your pocket to do those?
So the first one, 264 units. I don't have any partners in that deal, but I brought in $2 million for the renovations.
Yep.
That $2 million came from private money lenders.
Yep.
And I'll refinance them out in a couple of years.
So no money
No money.
out of your pocket. Second deal?
Second deal, I was actually a cash deal
Mhm.
through my fund,
Mm-hmm.
and we raised $20 million. And
Did you really?
I know how to raise
Holy
money.
cow.
I know. If you guys want to get in on my deals,
$20 million.
oh yeah, this year we raised $68 million.
Woo!
Yeah, we have on my waiting list for people waiting to do deals with us. We have a little over $300 million in people on our waiting list.
Incredible.
Yeah, incredible. So my goal is like when I take Eric out, right, and we're walking and filming the property, I'm like, man, I want Eric to feel like he has ownership in this deal. And so here's how I set it up. You legally can't just give ownership to an employee,
Right?
because when they quit in 6 months because you just gave them all this ownership,
Mm-hmm.
and you go, wait, that's not the bargain. I thought we were gonna go build this together. Like, no, dude, you just gave me ownership. I'm out.
Yeah.
So what I did is I actually set up an option agreement.
Sure.
So in 5 years they can buy the
Love
ownership
it.
from me at $1.
Awesome.
So as long as Eric stays with me, Eric, please don't leave me. We love you. So a couple of people asking questions about the deal that you did.
Yes.
Do you know where the lead came
Yes. Yeah. That was a Driving for Dollars lead in South Phoenix. The reason it was so big is because we locked it up in 2019.
Oh, wow.
The dude passed away, had a will. In his will literally says, do not let my ex-wife have ownership here.
Wow.
Give it to my daughter.
Even from the grave, hey?
Ex-wife.
He held that. He
Oh,
held,
yeah. He was
he
not
held that resentment.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because we met her. Because she snuck back in to
Oh,
the
my.
house, started squatting, got an attorney, and then 2020 hit. And so that extended everything
so you've
out.
been dealing with this
So
situation.
we locked it up at $62,000 in this time 19.
Yep.
Went through this whole legal process. Cost about 10 grand to get it through with the attorneys. Finally got the ownership, put it out, and your guy snatched it real fast.
I had probably
So
4
you
or
guys
5
are
of
out
those.
there, bro.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are hungry.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Hungry.
The teeth are sharp.
Our buyers right now are phenomenal.
Yeah.
They are they're pulling the trigger. Guys, if you are not working with Kegley on your deals, you're missing a ton of money.
Yeah.
You're leaving so much money on the table. Send me a DM, guys. Hit me in the DMs. Of course, we've got, franchises. Some of them are better than others. Everybody's working their butts off because the ones who are better are probably more established. But we will be honest with you and tell you. And obviously, I need from you to give me, if you ever are working with somebody and you're like, hey, there could be better service here. We want to get in front of it. But for the most part, 9.9 out of every 10 people who we work with are incredibly happy. And we just thank you guys for the continued support in the business, and we're happy to help you guys make more money on your deals.
Okay, here's Zach Pate says, okay, here's the 12-unit Morby method deal in Indiana, 0 out of pocket. He actually got paid $5 grand to buy it through Creative Finance.
Yep.
This is the craziest thing about Creative Finance is that the majority of my deals that I do, I actually pay myself up front through the way I structure it. He got a 12-unit for doing that. That's pretty cool. Jamil, there was a good question in here about talking about the process of selling a deal through Kegley.
Yep.
And I would love to talk about that. And then Denise, we'll get to your question. What is the process?
It is going to be different slightly from corporate to franchise, right? And so first off, what I would say is you should be at least looking at your deal and understanding the numbers. What we want to see from you is that you've attempted to understand what you're looking at. The hardest thing, I think, from any of my reps or even the franchises to deal with is you send us a retail house that's just been remodeled and it's been sitting on the market for 150 days and you're like, there's a deal here. And then, now we have to explain to you like basic fundamentals of, guys, wholesale is not beautiful houses. A wholesale is ugly houses, big checks.
That's
right? A wholesale is potential, selling potential. So first, make sure that your deal has the fundamentals of a wholesale deal, that there's an opportunity to force equity in there. If that exists, then have an attempt at looking at the numbers. Try and understand what the ARV is. See where you think potentially this house needs to be contracted. Don't go and contract it yet. But once you've got those steps figured out, reach out to one of our offices, whether you DM me and we give you a phone number. I think that's probably the best way because I've got Nino in my DMs and he's got the entire list of all the franchises and corporate contacts that he can send you to. So you DM me and then we will connect you to somebody at the Kegley office that'll help you out. It's really that simple. In fact, we just saw, Somebody just said that they just completed a deal with my Vegas franchise Jameson and his people, and they just made a good schwack of cash on that too. So guys, that's the process. A, make sure that it's a viable deal, and then B, send me a DM.
Okay. Special announcement for next week. Cody Sanchez is coming on Wholesale Hotline next week.
Cody Sanchez.
So I like Cody Sanchez.
Boring businesses. Right?
Yeah, boring businesses.
Yep.
Recently become friends with Cody. Been texting her. She asked me, "Hey, what real estate podcast could I come on? I want to try out some new contrarian thoughts." Kind of like she's planning on doing a lot of content on it, but she wants to warm up, kind of like in stand-up comedy. Right? What do you do before you go
open mic?
Yeah, you do an open mic. So she wants to come on here, talk about. She says, "I want to talk to real estate investors and talk about what is coming up in the upcoming market and what are their plans. And I have some ideas and some thoughts and da 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 da." So Cody Sanchez is coming on next Monday.
Amazing.
5 p.m. Wholesale Hotline.
Guys, if you don't know who Cody Sanchez is, look her up. She's incredible. Really, really, really great content on YouTube. An incredible
TikTok,
channel,
everything.
TikTok, yeah. So Pace, thank you for bringing Cody into the fold, guys. You're gonna really enjoy next week's episode. You know what we should do?
We should tell everybody, take a screenshot, everybody, and literally take a screenshot on your phone, go on Instagram, tag Cody in a story, and just say, "Looking forward to seeing Cody on next week's Wholesale Hotline."
Cody is spelled Codie.
Correct.
Okay, so it's Kodaya.
Can we put it in the chat?
Yes, sir. We sure can.
Do we have our Instagram?
Cody at Cody Sanchez. Okay.
Speaking of deals in this current market,
tag her.
If you guys weren't aware, tomorrow I'm doing a live stream where I'm going to actually be talking to agents using the terminology of today's market conditions. So if you want to understand, it's going to be, listen, the conversations that you're having with agents right now are going to be different than conversations you're going to be having in January. Right now, we're in the sweet spot of the holidays, and we're in the sweet spot of desperation. Yeah. So I really want you guys to tune in to my live tomorrow and listen to the way that my conversations are going with these agents. You're going to hear some incredible nuggets, and so we really want you guys to come to that. There's a link in the chat to sign up to make sure you're there. So I don't know, Bobby, do you got it, or Emily, whoever's putting it in the chat? There's a link there. Make sure you guys show up tomorrow.
Love it. Let me.
What time?
Hold on.
It's on your YouTube.
9 a.m. MST. 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Yep.
That's 11 o'clock East Coast. 8
9
o'clock
a.m. AZ time.
California time.
Denise says, "Should I start a fund to start raising capital even before you have a multifamily deal?" Now, I'm going to go down in 2023. You guys are going to hear me talking about this big time because I'm going to go heavy. I'm going to go for 2,000 units in 2023. My goal this year was 500 units. We ended up doing this year probably around 1,600. Still have a couple weeks to go. We'll see what happens. The biggest LOI I've ever submitted on a sub-2 deal, by the way, $52 million, brought to me by one of my students during the Elephant Challenge last week. $52 million sub-2 deal. We just submitted the LOI going through the seller sniffing my butt to make sure I'm credible, but they're willing to sell an entire 600 unit multifamily sub-2 for $52 million.
Wow.
Pretty amazing.
So what you're gonna take over some existing debt.
Yep.
I imagine it's good debt.
It's good debt. Yep. Under 4%.
And what do you need to come to the table with?
I need to come to the table on that deal. $3 million for the down payment and get the agent paid. Yep. And then $2 million for CapEx, capital expenditures,
for renovations and upgrades,
operating expenses, whatever, right? And upgrade everything you said plus some operating expenses. So I'm going to tell Denise, this is what I'm going to go into 2023. You guys will get so sick of me hearing me say this, is that multifamily is not about multifamily. Multifamily is about raising capital. And so what happens is when you start wanting to get past 12 units and 16 units, you're going to have to learn how to raise capital better than you know how to underwrite the actual asset. The people who know how to raise money are the people that will always dominate in multifamily. Okay. So I would say, Denise, absolutely yes. Try this out. Denise, I'll give you a tip. Go to investwithpace.com. On your way over there, definitely make sure you register for our upcoming deals because you want to make sure that you're involved in our deals. Denise is a sub-2 student as well as an Astro student. And you want to make sure you're registered for the deals. But more importantly, for people that are trying to raise capital, just copy my website. right? Just copy my website, investwithdenise.com. And Denise is the shit.com, whatever it is that you want to say. Make it easy so that you can say it on a wholesale hotline or Instagram where people will get on a waiting list. So you have the confidence to go into an asset saying, man, I have 42 people on my waiting list with $10,000 each or $100,000 each or whatever it is. Absolutely couple that with what Brent talks about all the time, which is get loud. You need to be raising all the money all the time. Everything I do, everything I say, Pace, can you go into detail on where you're paying the agent $1 million assignment fee? I'm not paying him $1 million assignment fee. He's the broker on the deal representing the seller. He'll get paid $1 million
from the seller.
From the seller, but my down payment is what goes into the seller's pocket. The seller then distributes.
Isn't that I love that. Buyers bring all the funds. Like people are like, oh, it's coming out of the seller's equity. It's coming out of the buyer's funds.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like there's no commission if there's no funds.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
This is one of my favorite
twist on it.
This is one of my favorite questions of all time, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I love this question. I want to start it off with Brent.
Yes.
Dwayne says,
yes.
Brent.
Yeah.
Mr. TTP.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the Rhino shirts, I think, are so dope.
Yeah. Thank you.
They're so good. I love the white. It proves that your shirt was not tattooed to your naked body.
That's right.
I love it. Dwayne says, should I look for a buyer first when wholesaling, or should I find a seller first?
Listen, it shifted for years. I would debate with Jamil about who goes first. What is it the chicken or the egg? And it's the chicken. It's the buyer for sure. It is. And I'm telling you, if you go and you understand what your buyers are looking for, you can cater your efforts towards what they're actually looking for, as opposed to hoping and praying that the numbers work out or the area works out or whatever else. Now, as the buyers are starting to come back into it and they're starting to feel better about things, they want to have conversations with us and they want to tell us exactly what they're looking for because they're really, really tired of seeing terrible deals.
Yes.
There is so much like
trash.
Oh my gosh. But it's just so much brain damage that they have to sift through that. And I know that your guy sold our deal by picking up the phone. You
100%.
know what I'm saying?
Well, we curate that, guys. The job of a wholesaler, beyond looking at potential and finding potential, okay, is to curate opportunities for your buyers. Right. The facts is that these guys, they may be seeing your deal, or they may see have 100 deals get emailed to them in their email list or in their emails, and they're not seeing anything. Why? Because they're doing their jobs. They're out on the field. They're at the hardware store. They're checking job sites. They're talking to contractors. They're doing the things that they should be doing throughout the day. And very few of them have the time to be looking in their email and looking at every single opportunity that comes there and then having to check all the numbers, because wholesalers, for the most part, unless you're an astro flipping, get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Or TTP, or unless you're a sub 2 guy, unless you've learned how to comp, a lot of folks are getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My personal opinion about this is that you always find the buyer first. I would not open a Subway sandwich franchise if I didn't know the foot traffic, if I didn't know the vehicle traffic on the corner that I'm opening.
Yep.
You find the demand first.
Yep.
Right? You find out where you can go. Same thing if I was going to start a t-shirt printing company. I wouldn't choose to go, all right, well, let's go buy 5,000 XL size shirts. Well, how do you know your buyer is actually an XL size person? You know what I'm saying? Like, do the market research. So why is that important? Number one, it does help you when you're negotiating with a seller. But I find that when a buyer and you have built a relationship, even a soft relationship, like a 5-minute, 10-minute phone call, that buyer provides accountability to you. And they basically say, hey, man, you said you were going to send me a deal. What's going on?
Yep.
Right? One of the reasons why I did so well my first year in business and is because I sold Jamil 100 deals. And you know what it was? Is Jamil annoyingly, persistently, consistently, and lovingly nudged me every 3 days. Hey, what else you got? You got any appointments you're going on? What can I comp for you? Okay. And when you go into an appointment knowing that you already have a number, you have confidence to move forward. And I see a lot of people frozen in place that are not taking action. And I would say a percentage of the reason why you don't have action is because you don't know that you have a customer waiting for you to give you a check.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
What's funny when you talk about accountability, I want to bring this up. Unfortunately, you were on Tarek's training that last meetup that we did at the Kegley office, but Brent was there.
Mm-hmm.
And Brent, we said, hey guys, we're going to do a live call day. We're going to let some of you guys come into the office and come in, and we'll have some key Astro players in here to help you make some calls if you haven't done it yet. Yeah. How many people you think raised their hand, say that they were going to come?
Everybody.
Yeah. So that was approximately what, 200 people?
Yeah.
Okay. 15 showed up.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about. It's the trickle down effect of being full of shit.
Oh.
It's when, and I'm saying this as lovingly as I possibly can to the listeners and the viewers of this podcast. Be true to your word, especially when you're keeping promises to yourself. It's important. It's important that you have integrity in the words that come out of your mouth. It's important that when you make a commitment to take action and do something, that you show up for yourself and you take action and do something. Every time you lie to yourself and every time you break one of those promises where you've said, today's the day, and then you lie, you are breaking the fundamental bond and the pact that you have with yourself and your own spirit to show up.
Money. I love that. I was at the gym the other morning, Sunday morning, 7 a.m., not that early, 7 a.m. And I'm looking around and there's literally 2 old men in the whole entire thing. They're not even on any of the machines. They're in the racquetball court. So like I have all the machines to myself. And I had this weird little flashback that I saw every machine as a different business opportunity. I was like, oh, there's wholesaling, there's this, there's flipping, there's raising capital and doing fund of funds. There's all these machines were individual business opportunities. And I'm literally the only person in the whole entire gym. Meanwhile, that gym, has 2,000
members.
Auto pays every single month, sucking money and sucking life out of these people that are lying and not convicted to their own promises to themselves. So Claudio, very experienced, lives in the Northeast, and he wholesales in Houston. Okay. Claudio this is a great question. I really like this. He says, what if you have privy and know that there is demand in the area? Would you still look for a buyer first? Now, this is where I change my mind. Okay. If I'm Brent and I'm Jamil and I'm Pace and I'm experienced at least 6 months, a year, etc., I actually would start changing where I would start. I would not start at that point finding buyers first. I would go directly for sellers because I already have the confidence. Mm-hmm. I already know how to comp. I already know how to negotiate. I know where I need to be. Mm-hmm. So I would start calling sellers first, knowing that I know there's demand in the area by looking at privy. I don't need to talk to a buyer necessarily. The reason I like finding a buyer, especially when you're brand new, is because of the accountability. You don't know how to negotiate. Right. A lot of times your buyers can step in and help you out with paperwork. Right. They'll suggest the title company that they like. Man, the buyer has literally 80% of the resources you need on that first deal.
For real.
Claudio asking the question, teeing all of us up. I appreciate that, Claudio. Thank you so much. He knows that he doesn't need to find, I highly doubt that he needs to find a buyer first, but that's just my 2 cents. Jamil.
And if you're hooked in with Kegley, ask them what their buyers are buying.
There you go.
I mean, that's your straight line. They're like, well, I don't know any buyers. I got to talk to agents. I got to talk to these other cash buyers and they're strangers. And, I'm not exactly sure what to say. Cut your teeth calling Kegley.
Yep.
Cut your teeth calling one of the reps and say, hey, listen, I saw Jamil on Wholesale Hotline. He said to reach out. Brent said to reach out. Pace said to reach out and have a conversation and cater what I'm looking for to what your clients are wanting to buy. So where should I go?
Kegley.
Exactly.
No, I mean, that's the conversation.
Yeah. Yep.
What is a good deal though? That's the question, right? You've got Netsu, yep. Salark. Wow, man, are you trying to stump me today? Because that's a good one. But what is a good deal?
That's a very, very vague question, but I'll try to answer it as specifically as possible to hit you back with some specifics to the vagueness, Mr. or Miss Salark.
Salark.
So a good deal has multiple factors in it, right? First and foremost, is there the potential to create or force appreciation, right? So as a wholesaler, and this could be different on a creative deal, it could be different on a cash deal, But the first thing I'm looking for on a cash deal for a fix and flip is there a good enough margin for me to force appreciation, right? Second, I'm looking at, is there demand in the area where I'm looking at this potential property, right? Are there buyers? Are there fix and flips going on? Is there demand in the area where I'm looking, right? The next thing that I'm trying to understand is beyond the demand is right now, are there actually deals on the market that are pending, and are we seeing continuous or present demand? Right. Then beyond that, I'm going to look at the condition, and I'm going to see what price or what number do I need to acquire this property for in its current condition in order to A, make myself a profit, and B, allow for my buyer to make a profit. On the other side, if you're looking at a rental, you're going to see, does this property make sense to cash flow on a cash-on-cash return? Now, this rental could be a creative deal like Pace is teaching thousands of folks to do. And I hear him, it's funny because we had somebody from Sub 2 come into the meetup that we did today. And again, their mind is trained to think on cash return, right? So they understand that if you're looking at a creative deal, well, if your potential seller wants you to come to the table with more cash than what a bank would want you to come to the deal with, is that a good deal?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
So you want to be able to create an opportunity that has way better terms, because again, when you're talking creative, you're talking subject to or owner finance, we're not looking for equity. That's not the play. The play is, what can you do with the property, right? Peso says, if I can make more money on the property depending on my exit strategy here, I don't care if I pay $1 million for the house, even if it's worth $100,000, because if I can cash flow it, that's where my return is.
Yeah. Plus my tenant will pay down the debt.
Right.
So, at the end of the day, what's the big deal? The other thing too is like going into, you and Toback are doing Novation training,
Yes.
right? Okay. So here's how I would summarize a good deal. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing. By the way, great name. He says, good to see all three of you guys together in the studio tonight. Agreed. Okay. Here's a good deal for me. A good deal for me is where everybody makes money along the way. The seller, the agent, the broker, the wholesaler, maybe the daisy chainer, okay? And the second wholesaler, maybe even a third wholesaler. Hell, I don't care. And still leaves room for the end buyer. And the end buyer could be one of three people. Could be a fix and flipper.
Yep.
Could be a buy and holder. Or in the Novation world, it could be the end user. Could be the family that buys the house off the MLS. It could be whoever, right? Did you leave enough meat on the bone, or did you create a product, right? What makes a good sandwich? Well, unfortunately, something that's priced properly, and it gave the options to the buyer of that sandwich that they desire, right? So I can't tell you, well, the best sandwich is a ham and cheese, because some people are actually allergic to cheese. You got to figure out what the end consumer wants. And that's what we were talking about earlier. Salchak.
Yeah.
Whatever. Soul rock. Let your body rock. Soul rock. Okay. What we were saying earlier is, when you're brand new, find the buyer, because the buyer will actually tell you specifically what is a good deal for them, giving you the ammunition to go forward into your business, to negotiate and do things the proper way.
How do you structure, Adrian? How do you structure your assignment fee without seeming greedy or leaving money on the table?
Can I tell you how I did it for my first 100 deals?
Yeah.
I told Jamil, I said, what would you buy this at? And Jamil would say 175. And I would say, perfect. Thank you. And then I would go and negotiate as low as I possibly could. If I got a deal at 115, I made 60 grand. Jamil never asked me. If I got a deal at 171, because that's all I could get, same thing, 4 grand, right? I trusted my brother. This is why we've collaborated for so long. I don't care what his number was. It was my job as the person going and finding the deal to get it as low as I possibly could.
Yep.
And I don't, there were times, maybe out of hundreds of deals our teams have done together, where I probably came to you and I go, hey man, it's really skinny on my side. Is there any way you can budge up a little bit? But I didn't do that because I wanted to dig into your pocket. I wanted to make sure my team got fed.
Right.
And for me, that was my answer on my first 100 deals. It's funny, guys. I didn't even comp a deal for my first 100. Yeah. My first 100 assignment contracts, I never once even opened up Zillow, Privy, MLS, literally nothing. I literally went to Kegley and I was like, yo, Jamil, what would you buy this at? All right, bet. I'm gonna go and negotiate lower.
Yep.
That was it. What about you guys?
I think that the market's going to tell you. The market will tell you. There was a deal that I pushed the value so hard and sent it to Kegley, and I was like, there's no way that they can do it. And they were able to sell it to one of their buyers for like 32 grand higher. Like it's case by case, and it depends on what the person's exit strategy is with that property. You could sell something in a really nice area like your neighborhood. I bet you could sell that to somebody that would live there. Once you get this deal under contract off the MLS, you could sell that to somebody that wanted to live there. They're going to pay more than somebody that's going to do a fix and flip, try to get their investment out of that to keep that money recycled. So it depends on what the exit strategy is for the buyer. If it's a true fix and flip, you'll know real quick if nobody wants to buy that deal. If you're being too quote unquote greedy. And I think greedy is kind of a, I don't know. I think that's more of a mindset thing than anything. I think some people think 12,000 is greedy. Some people think 100,000 is greedy. Some people think 500,000 is greedy, but, there's people making millions of dollars on deals. Are they greedy? Like, what is greedy?
I know.
You know what I mean? As you
I'll
get
tell you
up
what,
if you keep going up.
I think I know what greedy is.
Yeah.
Greedy is where you try and take all the profit and don't allow the next guy to make anything.
Right. The numbers are determined based on the value you're bringing to the situation.
That's it.
Yeah, and if your end buyer can make money,
Yeah.
who gives a crap that Brent just made $88,000?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And who cares how much Jamil is going to make on the back end? Jamil committed to a price. He stuck to that price. They both made money. There's no greed there. Now, if somebody came to you and said, what was the price? 160?
160.
Okay. If Jamil came, this is where greed comes in. If Jamil at the closing table, and this does happen in wholesale, you do get some knuckleheads that do this. Somebody finds out how much the other person is making. It happens 1 out of 1,000 transactions, but it does happen. These people very quickly get blackballed in this business, by the way. They go to the closing table. Jamil finds out that Brent bought the deal at $72,000, and Jamil says, hey man, I can't do 160 anymore. You're making a lot of freaking money on this deal. I need to be probably closer to 120. That's greed. Okay. Or when Brent turns it around, sells the thing for 160, still makes 88 grand, sees Jamil go and sell it for 220 and goes, hey, I would
never. I'd be like,
No, he'd be happy.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I'm just
on.
saying that's greed. Okay.
Yep.
Greed is picking money out of each other's pocket based on how much the other person made.
Yep.
If you find a good operating buyer and a good operating acquisition guy, which these guys just did, he makes 88 grand. Who knows how much Jamil made? And at the end of the day, they go, do you want to do another deal together?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do it, baby.
You want to know what else I think greed is? Greed is when you lock up a deal, and because you do not want to share, because you do not want to squat up with somebody, that you allow the majority of your inspection period to run out. And then rather than opening up your mind to the possibility of squatting up with somebody, you actually let the deal fall apart because you just couldn't stomach somebody else making money with you.
How about when you're making 20 grand on a deal and then you go back to the seller to get a price reduction to get even
I think
more?
that's fine. As long as the property warrants the reduction. This is my belief system.
Yeah, but you're making 20.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm buying the property not based on how much I'm making, but based on the property's condition.
Okay.
So if I'm not going to just go get a price reduction for the sake of getting a reduction, I inspect every house that we put under contract.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but if if basically what I've looked at in the house and the pictures and the representations the seller made me and my inspection don't line up, you better believe I'm going to go for a reduction. And I don't care if I'm making money or not. I'm buying the house based on the condition of the house. That's how I always look at it.
Yeah, but you just said you wouldn't go for a price reduction for the sake of a price reduction. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm doing it based on the property.
No, I'm saying you know everything about the property. You got all your things lined up. You sell it out for 20 and you're like, I feel like this seller could come down a little bit more. I'm going to go get them.
I mean, we may disagree on that. I personally, I think that.
Can I be the judge?
Yeah.
You're both right.
I think that if there's an opportunity to make money as a business, it's your job to make money.
Got it.
That's,
Yeah.
Jenna Soyring, She says, how do we write up contracts to close a deal? Do you have an example? A couple of things. If you go on my YouTube channel, Elephant Challenge #1, I spent 3 hours going through a wholesale contract and answering Q&A about it. Okay. It was so good. I got a great comment today. I love my YouTube comments because YouTube comments are a reflection of people's current mindset. Do you agree with that?
I agree.
Do you see some of their comments? You're like, you have the most glaring mindset issue of all time.
Yeah, you know what? I have an overwhelming number of people who have opinions about my beard.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You have a great looking beard.
I mean,
guys, go to my Instagram stories and look at Jamil's beard from 4 years ago. Tell me which one you guys like more. He's done a great job. So, Jenna, I would go find that Elephant Challenge. First one that I did, this is about 4 months ago. Me and my students came together, taught thousands of people how to fill out a wholesale contract the proper way. And I gave that $3,000 wholesale contract away. Now, a couple of weeks later, came into Wholesale Hotline and did the same thing. Okay, it wasn't 3 hours, but it was about 30, 40 minutes of me going through line by line by line by line. So we have done it. It is there. You should definitely go back to Wholesale Hotline and type in Wholesale Hotline contracts, and you will find the episode that goes through the contract and gives the contract away to you. It's a gangster contract, by the way.
Sean St. Clair.
Yeah, Sean St. Clair. That was a good one. What is this Elephant Challenge? The Elephant Challenge is a monthly challenge that I'm doing. I've been doing it for the last 3 or 4 months. It's gotten really big. We got 7,000 people registered last month. About 4,000 people showed up this last week. And we're doing this month, we did multifamily. And we're doing, again, next month, multifamily as well. We're taking all the action. I'm changing my challenge up every month because I just want it to be fun for me. And so this challenge, we did multifamily. And we got a bunch of stuff under contract this last week. And we're going to then follow up every single Friday for the next 30 days. And then we'll do the challenge again.
So is it like people calling?
Oh, yeah, me calling.
Awesome.
Me negotiating, me calling brokers, me doing all the things, talking seller finance. My students take over and crush it. Carolyn and Myron Briley from DFW really jumped in and did a great job. And having a lot of fun. And you'll have to stay tuned for it. We do it randomly because I do it the way I want to do it.
Would you start with multifamily or single family? Single
family all day long. I'll tell you why. Single family is easier to get into. The terminology is easier. The resources are more plentiful. Multifamily also doesn't pay you immediately. I've got multifamily I've owned for 2 years that cash flows $7,500 a month. Cash flow. When I say cash flow, I mean real $7,500 that I could pay myself every single month after all expenses are paid. But
on your multifamily?
Oh, that's just one property. $7,500 on one property.
Yeah.
But I bought it 2 years ago. I've never taken that $7,500 home. Why? Because I'm still improving the property so I can raise rents.
Nice.
So what you have to realize with multifamily, guys, is that a lot of times you buy these value adds and it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years for you to pour your cash flow back into the property and raise your rents. Once you do that, then you could get paid, okay? So for me, multifamily is a gangster wealth building strategy, but it's not the way to quit your job today, right? Okay, wholesaling, single family, residential is easier by a long shot, in my personal opinion.
Love it.
Gage says, is 7 days too short for an inspection period? I have a deal in Shreveport, Louisiana that is a great deal, but because it's a VA foreclosure owned by the bank, they only allow a 7-day inspection.
Well, I mean, you listen, they're creating the rules of the game that you have to play in. I think that 7 days in today's time, you could absolutely request for longer. The bank may or may look, talking to a bank is like talking to a wall. Okay, it's not going to give you a lot. It's just going to stand there. So you're probably not going to be successful getting extra time in your inspection period when you're negotiating with the bank. So try for the 7 days. And if you are unsuccessful, try to get an extension of the inspection period if possible. And if not, that's just one of the hard parts of working with the bank and wholesale. But with sellers right now, if any seller is trying to push you into a contracted inspection period, guys, especially with the holidays, especially with the fact that people are gone, leaving town, with the fact that the market is already stalled, but then now we've got the holidays stalling the market. You're going to hear it tomorrow if you guys show up to my live stream where I'm literally going to be talking about the current state of the market going into the holidays. You're going to hear the amount of anxiety that I'm going to create on the calls when I'm talking to the agent. And I'm doing this on purpose. It's a negotiation tactic. I'm trying to let the agent understand how close they are to losing that listing, how close they are to this deal being a waste of time, money, and energy for them, and how I am going to be the resource that's going to get them across the finish line with a check before the first of the month.
Remember with bank-owned properties too, if it's a VA, that 7 days is probably business days.
Yes.
Because they're closed. And it's also, if you try to lowball a bank, they have certain guidelines that properties have to be on the market for a certain amount of time before they can take a big price drop. So if it's sitting there and nobody's bought it, and it looks like it's a smoking deal, but it's sitting there for a while. I like Jamil's approach of you need to be at least 50 grand under what it's listed for if it's sitting there for a while.
Yeah, if it's been sitting there for a while.
I like going 30 to 50% of list price, depending on the price point.
Yep.
But you're not going to be able to pull that off with a bank-owned property because they literally have to wait a certain amount of time before they could take lower prices.
Too much red tape, too many boxes to check, right? All that stuff.
Yep.
G Money Slow Dance, love this. What's a good schedule for a part-timer? First 90 days. I'm a teacher looking to get started. This would be a TTP question, definitely.
Yeah, listen, you got to find 20 hours. You got to find 20 hours. We have 168 hours every single week. You can find 20 hours to commit to building your business. The first step is to get your first deal done. You have to go from faith to fact, and it's the first part. That's the first step that you take that you know that you can make money in this business. You could pull income out of the ether, out of the air, and be able to do this business, right? So you have to convince yourself that means you need to be consistent. You need 15 hours where you are hunting for opportunities. Unless you have a big budget. Now, if you only have a certain amount of time because you're a highly paid professional of some sort, you're an attorney. Oh, no, it was a teacher, right? It was a teacher, right?
Yeah,
so I mean, maybe you don't have, maybe you've saved up enough to put into marketing, but I would highly suggest that you go out there and you earn it and pick up the phone and call all the ugliest properties that you can in your area after talking to a Kegley office and finding out what areas people are buying at and at what prices. Hey, where are people buying properties right now, Mr. Kegley? Oh, we're buying it right here at this price. Okay, great. I'm going to pull a list of all the ugliest properties within a 5-mile radius of that spot, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to find something.
Yep.
That's it. 15 hours and find it. Find those in between times. The hardest part is the transition. The hardest part is you just got off an exhausting day of work at teaching, and now you're making this transition. You got to guard those transitions, and you got to bring that energy and enthusiasm to the big goal. If you don't have that huge goal, people call it the why or whatever else, whatever mental gymnastics you want to play to feel motivated when you're done with work, do it. Do whatever you got to do. If you got to listen to this show, if you got to listen to Pace or Jamil or myself or Tony Robbins or whoever you would like to listen to that gets you fired up, make sure that you do that, make that transition, and make sure that you have your list ready to press go. Because if you're messing around on your computer, boom, you're not going to make calls that day. If you're trying to put your list together perfectly and understand and like comp properties before you actually talk to the property owner, it's never going to work. Ugly houses, get their phone number, get it ready, press go as soon as you get off, and watch what happens. You're going to build momentum. This
is one of the reasons why I love challenges so much.
Yeah.
Last October, we did this Driving for Deals challenge where we helped 500 people get their first deal by literally we went on Zoom and we took our cell phones into the field and we were out knocking doors, driving for deals, and we helped 500 people get their first deal. Okay. It's because when you collaborate and you work with each other, you have the energy of activity and it's contagious. And when you're sitting there alone in your room, wherever you guys currently are right now driving, you might be cooking dinner. Okay. Tell us where, actually, I'm curious. We got nearly 600 people watching right now. I'm curious. Where are you? What are you doing? Okay. There's an energy right now while you're listening to this live, an energy of activity. And so for me, I like challenges. I like to participate in challenges. I like to tune in on Jamil's challenges. I like to run my own because there's an energy. There's an energy right there. Rocky says, I'm eating nachos. I wish I was eating nachos right now. So I would get around other people. This is what was cool about Brent. Brent used to do these things called Super Saturdays.
That's right.
Where he would get people to come into his office and they would make calls together because sometimes that energy of activity is what you need to hold yourself accountable. It's why people have personal trainers. It's why I have multiple coaches. It's why I have all sorts of things that put pressure on me and getting people around me. Jamil, is it easy to film good content by yourself, by the way?
It's practically impossible.
Practically impossible. You have to have Bobby as accountability. I have Eric as accountability. Sometimes I get Bobby as accountability. Shout out Bobby's mustache, by the way.
What's up?
So accountability, get around accountability. And I think those 15, 20 hours that Brent's talking about are going to be a lot easier. Get another teacher, somebody else from right here.
Don't do it alone.
Don't do it again. Don't do it alone. Do it
again.
Do it a lot again.
Yeah, do it a lot again. So that's it.
Julian says he's Alaska pooping.
Cool.
Wow.
My question is, the second you poop in Alaska, does it turn
goes right into the ocean? It becomes polar bear food.
Oh, I thought it turned into a fudgesicle, like immediately.
Yes.
Just frozen fudge.
Yeah.
What I just looked up an interesting physics equation.
Okay.
And, we're talking about, the energy of activity. And you know what? Energy in motion is actually called kinetic energy. Okay.
Yep.
The formula of kinetic energy is 1/2 mv squared.
Okay.
Okay. So what does that mean?
Mass velocity.
Exactly.
Right.
So how do you increase kinetic energy?
Gotta keep moving.
More velocity.
More velocity. You move faster and more people.
Yeah. Mass.
Woo! Increase the mass. You squat up, you go
on.
faster, you create more kinetic energy. This is physics. This is not just theory. This is absolute science.
Yep.
Understand that.
Is it because our atoms and your atoms are feeding off of each other? Is that what it is? Like our vibrations?
That's it.
There's a part of that. Absolutely.
Interesting.
1/2
super
mv
interesting.
squared. Think of that.
You guys taught me. You guys taught me, get into your community, make sure they're making calls together. 2 hours a day, every single day, Monday through Thursday. They're making calls live together in the community. And it's stuff that you guys have been doing for years and years and years and hours and hours and hours and hours. But it matters.
It does.
It matters being around people taking action.
Yep.
Because it forces you to. There's nowhere to hide in any of our communities.
No.
You know what I mean? There's nowhere to hide.
Here's the thing. I'm saying this as respectfully as possible, okay? If you are learning real estate from somebody else other than one of the 3 people that are here, you're learning from spam.
Yeah. Well, they're probably learning from OpenAI. Have you seen that thing?
Bro,
yet?
it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Gary, did you see the thing Gary Vee posted about?
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah. He's going bullish on it.
It's this AI that basically will write everything, create everything for you.
Yeah.
No, I know. I talked to a group today about how do you get AI to do driving for dollars for us
No way.
with Google Maps and drones.
Interesting.
Right?
Bro. Interesting.
It's going to be wild. It's coming.
Interesting.
It's 18 months away.
I like a lot of these comments, by the way, guys, in my basement submitting offers. Somebody was smoking a blunt. We don't condone that. We don't condone that. Jamil says something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, live your life.
Yeah, live your life, bro.
I ain't mad at nobody twisting up some spinach. You know what I'm saying?
I'm doing laundry. See, this is the great thing. You guys are living the law of duality. You're doing more than one thing at the same exact time. Don't just be chilling, right?
Yep.
Here's the other thing too. I get a lot of people DMing me and saying, I'm having dinner with my family. We're listening to Wholesale Hotline once a week, man. Family night. Come. This is our family night too. Come hang out with us. Come bring the kids. We won't cuss. Just tell us in the DM, say I'm bringing my kids and we'll stop cussing. Okay. Okay. I'm in Jamil's basement. I didn't know Jamil has a basement.
I don't actually have a basement. Joel, somebody else has you.
Yeah. You're in the wrong house.
Yeah.
Get out now, Joel.
Does he have a beard like Jamil's or is it a chin strap? Because it might be a previous version. It's a doppelganger.
It's version 1, yeah.
Nathan Harris keeps saying stuff about the REI revolution. Want to challenge you to a privy challenge. I've already won all the Privy gave me all the awards. They said, bro, all the Privy awards have been given to you. There's no more left. I've already won all the Privy challenges.
There's always next year.
There's always next year. You've lost for the year, but you've got 2023. Okay. This is great. I like this one because it kind of ties into a previous question, which was, right now, they said, I just watched Triple Digit Flip. By the way, dude, your speech in season 2, I watched it this morning.
That was neat, right?
Yeah.
They
did a great job, bro.
They televised one of our mastermind, Pace's mastermind, on our television show.
Awesome.
Like, this is the most phenomenal thing that I'm seeing A&E do that is not being done on a single network. Is they're actually opening up the door to people understanding that real estate education is a real thing, and we truly, genuinely care about our communities. And it's not just about making a pretty house. It's about changing lives.
Doctors go to school for 16 years to specialize in what they're doing, and real estate agents go to school for 2 weeks. Education needs to be amplified in our real estate profession. So, but they said we were watching Triple Digit Flip, and we saw that you guys were flipping. There was a lot of lessons learned. I have a question: is now a good time to fix and flip? And that ties into also, why is it so hard to find buyers right now? I don't think it's hard to find buyers right now. I think it's hard to find buyers based on the deals that you're presenting to them.
Correct.
You have to adapt for the market.
Yeah,
the
numbers have changed.
What did Gretzky say? He said 2 things that are really famous. One of them is you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And the second thing he said is, he says, you don't go where the puck is, you go where the puck is going. That's how you win the game. So where you have to adapt to where the puck is going in order to reach where the puck is headed. Okay. So if the market is trending downwards and interest rates are popping another 0.5 at least tomorrow, that's happening tomorrow, December 13th, shout out Fed. And then shout out Fed again in February. They're going to raise the rates one more time. At least we got 2 more rate hikes. So what does that mean? That means the market's trending downwards. Okay. A buyer knows this. Okay. A good buyer is going to know that. So they're going to want a deep discount. This is why Brent just made $88,000, because he got a juicy deal. Okay. So a couple of things I would be doing is making sure you're adapting to where the puck is headed. And secondly, use creative strategies like novations. Okay. Creative finance, seller finance, sub 2, wraps. I bought a deal from Toback today. Not your Toback.
Yeah.
His cousin.
Yeah. Dan.
Yeah. Out of Florida.
That's his brother.
Yep. New Hampshire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are all Tobacks related?
Oh, there's a lot of Tobacks.
There's a lot of Tobacks.
There's a lot of them.
So give me my Toback.
If you put two Tobacks together, are they a tobacco?
Tobacco.
That's the name of their company with the brothers.
Oh,
Toback Co.
That's
wow. Tobacco.
That's
Hilarious.
Yeah.
So you got to learn creative strategies. We are seeing this a lot in the multifamily market. Check this out with the multifamily market. The last couple of years, syndicators, fund managers were acquiring big multifamily properties with what we call bridge debt. Bridge means we're going from point A to point B. There's a definitive distance on a bridge, right? Some bridges are 15 feet long, some are 25 feet long, and other bridges are 2 years or 3 years long in the bridge financing world. So what happens is 2 years ago, all these syndicators are acquiring multifamily at these good interest rates on bridge debt. Now that bridge debt is expiring this month and next month, and 1,400 properties are going into foreclosure and default.
You mean
this
1,400 doors?
1,400 properties.
Oh, so more doors than that?
Oh, wait, thousands and thousands and thousands of doors. I mean, we're probably talking a few 100,000 doors are going into default this month, a few hundred next month, et cetera. So the multifamily space is going to go on sale. The single family space has already been on sale. Okay. And now everybody's going to start feeling the pain, which is great for you because you have this beautiful thing that's a pain reliever called wholesaling real estate.
That's right.
And you understand how to negotiate. You understand where to find amazing content. Brent's channel, Jamil's channel, my channel. What is there anything? Okay, I'm gonna throw out one person. Jamil, you did leave out one of my favorite people on the planet.
Jerry.
Oh yeah, he's the best.
Yep.
Okay. I would say.
Sorry, I did not mean to leave him out. Jerry is a magical human being, and he's legitimate.
Yes, very much. I would say if you are learning wholesale outside of the 4 of us,
You're learning from spam.
I'm just wondering, what is it that you're learning there that is not already created on our channel?
Listen, it's just watered down. It
doesn't have 28-inch biceps.
No,
What size are these?
brother.
What are these?
I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know. I'll have Aaron measure it.
My guess, he's a solid 21-inch.
Maybe.
No.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this. I'm telling you, we locked up 2 other deals just like this one. We got that one in 2019. So that's a bit of a outlier. But the 2 that we locked up last week is still over 50,000. And the sellers are coming back and saying, I understand that the market is rough.
Yep.
They're fine. It's finally there. We've been talking about it.
In.
We've been talking about it for 5 months. We've been talking about it since June. When you see this dip, there's going to be a time where the expectations of the sellers don't line up with the prices of the buyers. I am telling you, it's starting to even out. And like Pace just mentioned, with those 2 interest rate hikes, watch how many for sale signs are sitting around for a long time. They estimate another 20% will hit the market and sit on the market in 2023. You can read it right there at realtor.com. And so there's going to be a lot of properties on the market, which means a lot of the off-market properties and on-market properties. The sellers that really want to sell their properties are going to be realistic, and they're going to make the right decision, and they're going to get rid of them. Or they're going to get less.
This is a good question, because it's kind of a reiteration of the question before. So I think we need to elicit a different response, because G Money Slow Dance is re-asking the same question. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why a good weekly schedule for a part-timer beginning his first 90 days?
Yeah.
Would like to hear from all 3 of you. I think this is good for everybody. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you guys something. So in the elephant challenge this last week, actually, no, I'm crazy. So I get home, I decide I'm done traveling for 35 days. You and I visited roughly 50, 60 cities this year. It was crazy. We even did a road trip in a minivan.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy.
Great time.
Great time. A lot of farts. No?
I mean, there's a few.
Okay, there's a few. So I get home and I'm just so excited to get on the phone. So on Tuesday of last week, I went 7 hours live with my students, my students, calling brokers, talking to them, answering their questions, etc. And I get one of my students named Jared Penner. Shout out Jared Penner. He goes, hey, I've got this agent named Asha. And she is kind of cool. Can I introduce her to you? I was like, yeah, sure. So I talked to one Asha. We should probably have her on the show. And this entire week, I have been overwhelmed. When I say Pace is overwhelmed, that's a big word. Overwhelmed with opportunities from this lady, Asha, multifamily, single family, land. She is sending me so many things. I'm throwing out LOI. She negotiated a deal that was $25 million down to $18 million. She's actually going out and negotiating. This is one relationship. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't need to talk to Jamil, because this is what Jamil preaches all the time. This is what I am constantly reminded from Jamil, which is go out and build relationships with agents. I believe that if you get a couple of really good agents in your repertoire, in your Rolodex, bro, like you could fill your entire week just by reacting to opportunities all day long.
I had got 2 deals under contract today with Monique.
Mm-hmm. Really?
2 deals. All inbound.
Why isn't Monique doing like a monthly podcast with us? Like, why isn't she doing something fun for the wholesale hotline operators? You know what I'm saying? She's good,
waiting
bro.
for an invite to come back. She's actually brought it up.
I think now is a great time. I think we have Cody Sanchez next week. By the way, shout out, guys. Do us a favor. We've got 600 people in here. I want you guys to blow up Cody Sanchez on Instagram. Hey, Matt, is there any way you can pull up Cody Sanchez and do a screen share or something so everybody knows exactly who she is, if you don't mind? He's like, let me figure this out.
Yeah.
So Cody Sanchez on Instagram, tag her, take a screenshot on your phone right now and say, I'm listening to Wholesale Hotline. Can't wait for Cody Sanchez to come next week, and tag her. Let her know how dope our audience is. Mm-hmm. The Wholesale Hotline crew is going to give her a lot of warm love. Cody Sanchez. That's next week. I think sometime in the next couple of weeks, we should have Monique Walker and you really hit home on agent outreach. 100%. What do you think?
Yep. I love it.
100%.
Okay. So back to the 90 days, Brent already answered his. What, Brent?
I want to add just one thing. Okay. 20 people, talk to 20 homeowners and 5 agents a day. That's it.
I like that.
And maybe the opposite for you. Maybe it's 20 agents and 5, off market. But that, just to boil it all down, if you want to just get to the nitty gritty, you got to talk to 20 and 5, because every 200 people you talk to.
Is that 7 days a week or 5 days a week?
5 days a week.
So 125 people.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Well, it's scary. I mean, people haven't talked to one person.
It's not,
So
guys,
once
it's not
you get- but
scary
once
when
you
you're
get
doing it
going-
together. Do it together.
Yeah, but once you realize that, like, you could literally be making $3, $5, $1,000, $1,500 an hour making these calls.
Yeah.
If you went back to when you were making calls and setting up all the relationships when you came here from California, just going and going and going and going, and to what it's worth now, I mean, come on. And I say this, and I said this to the Bigger Pockets audience when we were speaking there. If I was standing there giving everybody on this show 10 crispy $100 bills every hour that they made calls, I would have to tear every single person off the phone.
Yep.
I would. But that's what it is. That's what you're really doing. I mean, when you're reaching out to people that are in a distressed property situation, it's only a matter of time. Ugly houses, big checks.
Yeah, share that, Matt. You got it. There you go. There you go. All right, guys. So this is Cody Sanchez on Instagram. Follow her. She's articulate. She's genuine. She's action-packed. She's all about buying businesses, boring businesses, some of them creatively. So that's where her and I connected. I'm going to be buying, Jamil and I actually been talking about this, buying businesses creatively next year together. We got a couple of businesses, minivan business we're going to buy. No? Okay.
I'm in.
You're in. Okay. So tag Cody Sanchez on here and let her know. Okay. That's her. It's at Cody Sanchez, I believe, is her Instagram name. So go tag her. Take a photo. Matt, take it off the screen so people don't tag her with her own photo. That would make us look like thirsty dudes. You know what I'm saying? We like Cody. She's a friend. We look forward to her coming here on Monday. And then we'll have Monique Walker come in a couple of weeks, right?
Awesome.
Sounds wonderful.
90 days.
All right, 90 days. My strategy would be a little bit different from what Brent's is, but again, it's the fundamentals are talk to people, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What I would do is for the first 90 minutes of your day, okay? The first 90 minutes of your day are the most productive 90 minutes of your day. This has been research backed and scientifically proven. If you can remove the distractions from whatever might be taking your attention away, you can get a disproportionate amount of work done in that 90 minutes. So this would be the following process that I would take in. I would have privy. I would be looking at anything that's been on the market 60 or 90 days that has evidence of motivation in the listing based off of the following: language that shows motivation, price reductions that show motivation. Okay. Also, the property going under contract and falling out of contract a few times shows motivation and frustration. Okay. I would be looking for these specific signals, and I'd be making it minimum 5 verbal offers to the actual listing agent. Guys, please do not go insert a buyer's. All the little hate messages that I've been getting on Instagram from all you buyer's agents that are pissed off that I'm telling people not to use buyer's agents, unfollow me. But the rest of you guys who actually like making money,
do people really see the value in a buyer's agent?
Bro, it's stupid, because these buyer's agents who want to write offers for you, they ain't doing nothing.
No,
they're just peppering listing agents with unsolicited offers that are so off from their list price that even if the list agent took it to their client, they would get fired.
But buyer's agents in the residential world work twice as hard as the listing agent, in my opinion. I see them
on a retail side,
right? On the retail side. Homeowners, right? Representing homeowners and dealing with that. The regular retail side. We are not in retail. Okay, we're in wholesale.
And I'm not upset at buyer's agent. I think buyer's agents are incredible. I think that they just don't serve a purpose when you're trying to buy an investment property. In this specific strategy, because the property's already on market, there's already a listing agent involved, and you could find alignment with the listing agent by allowing them to represent you. Or if they're not comfortable in representing you, or it's a state that doesn't allow dual representation, say, I'm going to waive representation and I'm going to allow the seller to keep that 3%, or you could actually represent me and make the extra 3%. You get to make the decision, Mr. or Miss Listing Agent. But that's what I'd be doing. 90 minutes, first 90 minutes, I'd be making 5 verbal offers. And then for the rest of the time, I'd be calling agents and doing agent outreach and trying to find discounted properties that are coming to market that haven't been listed yet that are in distressed condition.
Let's ring this bell. First one was Ajwan, I think. And then Austin. Congratulations, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing.
Energy.
Let's go.
Somebody asked me, what is Gator lending? Let me answer that question just real quick. Adrian Farrow says, hey, I'm an Astro member here. Hey, Jamil, Pace. Jamil or Pace. I've heard a lot about Gator lending. Can you explain a little bit? Yeah, actually, I'll give you 3 Gator deals I'm in the middle of right now. This gentleman today, Thin Win. That's fun. Thin win is funny because in golf we say you got to thin it to win it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a funny golf term. You don't need to worry about it.
It's cool.
Just, us golfers.
Our jokes are like on fire tonight.
Our jokes are amazing.
We got to take this.
He says,
get in front of a comedy crowd.
Could I please get info on somebody? I need EMD. I lost the deal. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
I lost the deal because I didn't have my EMD. And the title company asked for, the seller called the title company and asked for a receipt. And the seller goes, you didn't put in the EMD? He couldn't do it.
Wow.
So Gator lending is utilizing a line of credit that I show you guys how to go get a line of credit to go out and help people fund their EMDs. It's Gator lending. Go on my YouTube channel. I've got probably like 4 or 5 hours of free training on it. And it is a paid education thing. So I'm not going to push it. We closed it. We closed it in March and we closed it 2 months ago. So,
but never fear, guys, because next month I'm going to be coming out with my own lizard lending.
It's a good idea.
Just kidding. No, go to Gator. I'm totally kidding. Go to Gator lending, guys. It's how you can get involved in deals if you can't be involved in deals. It's genius.
Yeah, but I don't know. You can't get into it. It's closed out. I'm doing 5 phases of it, and every time I do a new phase, I close it for like 6 to 8 months. Go watch it on my YouTube channel. It's completely free for the first 3 trainings. It gives you a really good understanding. You won't get the paperwork. You won't get the contracts. We leave that for the people that are in the Gator tribe. But you can always meet Gators in the side chat. There's a lot of them in here. Rob Sema actually does a podcast called The Gator Tank every single week. That's how big Gator actually blew up, is we got Rob Sema freaking blowing up Jamil lending. I like that. It's called Jamillionaire.
Yeah.
Jamillionaire.
Also, guys, I just want to remind everybody, when you are doing agent deals, when you are putting contracts out or having conversations, make sure you have a proof of funds. Make sure you have a proof of funds in hand before you start making those calls. Yep. And Bobby's going to put an email address in the chat right now where you can get a proof of funds where I actually have $1 million of my own money.
Ooh.
Where I've backed it so that I can, I have to keep it in the account so these guys can go out and write offers. So you email flipfundllc@gmail.com and I got your back.
To the moon lending. I like that.
Ooh.
See, Crystal CT right here. She's a Gator.
Gator.
Now we shut down Gator. So just so you guys know, Gators, just so you guys know, Wednesday we got a training with Molly and Allison on my team. We're going to go through the paperwork for a 3rd time. Got a lot of people asking questions. They have specific state things that they want us to go through. So Allison and Molly are going to be doing that on Wednesday afternoon for all the Gators in here. All right.
Why do you call it Gator lending?
Chomp, chomp. Give me a portion of your deal.
That's it. Chomp,
chomp,
chomp.
chomp. I want a chunk of your deal. So I call it Gator because this is where it came from. I was doing a raising private capital live for 4 hours. And I was like, all right, let's come up with the demographics of all these lending types. Mm-hmm. We got the sharks, right? People that are like hard money lenders. They want to get in, they want to get out. They want to feed on your deal.
Yep.
You got the whales. You got these big private money lenders that are like doctors, attorneys, etc. You got the guppies that are small people like, hey, I got $25,000. What can I do with this? And then, so I basically created the whole animal kingdom and the personalities tied into those individual animals. And I got to Gator and I go, a gator is an animal that will eat another deal that nobody else can touch.
Right.
They'll feed off of a dead carcass. And so people that have dead deals because they don't have the EMD, a gator will come in and they want to be in and out of the deal within 30 days or less, usually 10 days or less, sometimes 3. We had one lady made $50,000. Literally, this was like 2 weeks ago. $50,000, 6 hours. Puts money in. gets money back in 6 hours, made $50,000. Didn't have to find the deal, find the buyer, didn't have to do anything. She was just the Gator lender on the deal.
Incredible.
It's
Well,
crazy.
Like transactional fund. They
That's
fund
it.
The whole thing.
They fund the EMD, or I teach people how to do double closes. Ooh, I got some good training coming up.
Ooh.
Good stuff.
I have to do one caveat.
Yeah.
Some of y'all that have been getting proof of funds from Flip Fund, rather than refreshing your proof of funds, what you've been doing is you've been using an old one, but you've been changing the information yourself, changing the date, changing the address, and using it. And what's ending up happening is I'm not logging those. Okay. If you want me, because here's what happens. Your agents reach out to us and they confirm them. And if I don't have that address logged, if I don't have that letter logged, that we've actually issued that letter, you are going to look like a fool, because when they call and they want verification, we're going to say there's no verification here. That
happens all the time.
That is a fraudulent letter. So guys, please don't play that game. Please don't do that.
I didn't think when I sent out my first proof of funds back in the day that somebody would actually, my seller or the broker would verify.
Yeah.
They freaking verify.
They verify.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
A lot of them do.
Oh, yeah.
I have a deal right now that I'm sponsoring for a student, and the broker comes in, they go, hey, we got your proof of funds. This is great. Can we also get your REO schedule? We want to see your real estate owned schedule.
Mm-hmm.
We want to see everything you own.
Amazing.
Addresses,
Wow.
percentages. I was like, okay.
That's due diligence.
That's due diligence. I'm like, I'm just sponsoring the loan, right? Like, what do you need? Do you want me to know my blood type? And like,
Who asked you for that?
the broker on the deal.
What?
Yeah.
How big of a deal?
It's a big one.
Okay.
20 mil.
Yeah,
Your proof of funds needs to be at least, it can't be older than 30 days. According to the broker file requirement, the proof of funds has to be 30 days or newer.
Check that out. Zach Pate, Astro student, made $18,000 in 1 day from my recent Morby Method deal for coming in as a transactional funder. That's called Gator Method, just FYI. Shout out Laura. No, I always ask my wife this question. Is your name Laura or is it Lara?
Laura.
It's Laura.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
How sure are
Because
you?
Laura is Lara. The U makes it
Laura.
Laura.
I still after
It's not Laura, it's
15 years together, I still hit her with that like once a year. I'm like, just answer me, just one time. I gotta know. Is it
Do you have a preference?
Do you have a preference?
It's like Jamil and Jamil.
Yeah, I prefer Jamil.
Yeah.
No, what about? I didn't even pick up on that until recently. I think it was you that like pointed out. What? How do you say that again? Jamil or Jamil?
Right.
It's like one E versus two E's.
Yeah,
Or it's like
one
an
I instead of two E's.
What about Jermil?
Got him.
Got
David
it.
beat you to
David,
it.
you beat
David
me to it,
beat you to
Jermil.
bro. Guys,
Jermil's
we
good.
are seven reviews away on iTunes to 500 reviews on the Wholesale Hotline podcast. Push us over this week, guys. If you guys are getting value out of this,
What is
Yeah.
it? What is it? What's the email?
your
Jermil?
email?
Yeah, no, the flipfundllc@gmail.com.
Okay,
People are
flipfund
asking the same
LLC.
question
Okay,
over
got
and
it.
over again. Let's get it. Let's give it to them. Flipfundllc@gmail.com.
At gmail.com. Awesome.
Make sure you have a proof of funds when you are doing agent deals.
Every
it's necessary.
time.
It's necessary.
What's the percentage of them asking for 1% earnest money?
Of realtors?
Yeah.
It depends on the market.
Right.
Just so you know, I'm lobbying for it.
Yeah. Are you?
Of
Yeah.
course I
Yeah,
am.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm lobbying for it. Personally, I like a 1% EMD. Some of you guys out there dropping $10 and $100 EMD,
$1.
$1, or is actually there's a group in town. I don't think they're doing business anymore, but they used to do $0 EMD. I'm like, you guys never consulted with an attorney? Like, you
have
have
consideration.
You have no consideration. You don't have a valid contract.
You guys call it consideration. I call it consummation.
There you go.
Right.
The deal hasn't been consummated.
Hasn't been consummated. Yeah, it can still get annulled.
It can still get annulled, baby. Lawrence Schwartz says, this is awesome, guys. Of course. Check this out. Here we go. How do we go about wholesaling a property that needs to be a teardown? It was listed for $2 million. Marcellus Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Name the movie. Marcellus Wallace.
Yeah, that's
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
Does
Yeah.
Marcellus Wallace look like a bitch?
No, he does not look like a bitch.
Such a great movie. Okay. It was listed at $2 million, reduced to 1.85.
Yeah.
Agent says sellers are motivated. It's in SoCal. So essentially, you're not even wholesaling a piece of dirt.
No, you're wholesaling a piece of dirt you're wholesaling a potential piece of dirt that has the cost of removing the house.
Right.
So it's
In
not even
SoCal.
it's not even land value. It's land value minus demolition and trash out or dump.
Better be a nice lot. And I would also verify that it absolutely needs to be torn down. Maybe it does. But I've seen more times than not, people are able to go in there and salvage it.
Blake
But maybe
Vega Houston says, "Hey,
Where's the gift?
that's such a great. Now I want to go watch
I
this
wanna
movie.
watch it too.
So good. What a great movie. Quentin Tarantino's
He's
a
only
genius.
doing like one more.
Really?
Yeah,
And then what?
he's done.
And then he's moving on to cartoons.
Maybe.
Okay, so
Cocomelon.
Blake Vega says, you know what's holding me back from agent outreach, Jamil? It's because I needed that proof of funds that you just gave away. flipfundllc@gmail.com. And now I feel good, but now I feel like I got to find buyers. So here's what I would do. I would go to YouTube and I would type in Jamil or Jamil, whatever you're feeling. Jamil find buyers. And you'll find some dope YouTube videos all about that exact thing. Dan Quijano, can I give a congratulations to Dan Quijano?
Yes,
Yes.
please do.
Okay, congratulations to Dan Quijano. This man has served the Sub2 community so consistently, so persistently over the last couple of years, shown up without anybody asking him to do so. He runs what we call the nightly dial.
Right.
Okay, the nightly dial is 4 hours every single night where we bring our leaders in and we call our new student sellers. They negotiate deals, they talk about topics. That's 20 hours a week, okay? So I go to Quijano and I go, dude, I want you to become the number one sales trainer in this industry. I mean, he did such a great job on Wholesale. What was it? Closers Olympics.
Yep.
You were one of the judges.
Yep.
And he came in, I believe, I don't remember what position he did, but he was killing it.
Yeah.
So I go, you need to do a boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I've never done one. And I go, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to do a boot camp at my house. And we jammed my house full of 65 people. Quijano did a boot camp on the day after the last golden ticket event. And he did a phenomenal job. I'm still getting people DMing me about how amazing it was to do the boot camp with Quijano. It was epic. So thank you, Quijano.
Good
Proud
job,
of
bro.
you. Showing up as a leader, growing as an individual. We love you. We appreciate you. My wife is in the chat.
Hey.
My wife is in the chat. Sweetheart, is it Laura or Laura? Because I just call you Hottie. What do you call my wife?
Laura.
You don't call her like beautiful or anything?
I mean, when you're around,
I mean, I tell your wife every time I
Yeah,
see her, I go,
yeah.
you're the most beautiful Canadian I've ever seen in my life.
I call her Laura. That's
Okay.
she's my god kid's mom, so I keep it respectful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's a babe though, right?
She's a hottie.
Okay, good.
She's a hottie.
When Kegley sends you deals via email, they're on/off market, right?
There's a lot of off market on there. There's if there is an on market deal there, it's a deal. It's actually tremendously below list price.
Yep.
So whatever it is, it's a deal.
My wife says, couldn't miss Jamil's birthday show. She also likes it when I tease her. Don't worry, babe. I'll tease you tonight. It's all good.
I saw a Central Phoenix deal that you guys closed on like last month and resold it and made like
A tremendous amount of
a
money.
boatload.
Yeah, like 130
I was
grand.
like gonna be
Yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
I wonder what they're selling that thing
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
Because I saw it close and I was like,
Did
no
Brent,
no
on
property.
Coulter Street,
Brent
right
just
by
use
where
the
you
word?
live.
I know.
Yeah, and you know
I
who
know.
you know who brought me that deal?
Who?
Shmonique Schwacker.
No, you
100%,
dog.
100%.
You dog.
100%.
in 30 seconds, Brent used the word boatload
Yeah.
and you dog.
Yeah.
Is this 1951? I
Yes.
love this. This is great. Flashback.
Bring it.
Okay, my wife
bet.
my wife has confirmed
Get
it's
the bag.
Laura.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Laura. Proud of her too. She's crushing on her YouTube channel. She had a couple of like really viral things hit. She's providing so much stinking value. She comes in and helps out the Sub2 community, stopping foreclosures, doing all sorts of things. Proud of her. She does a lot, tremendous amount. You know, it's fun. Have you ever had to hold your baby while you like sat down on the toilet or like tried to make yourself something to eat?
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, I'm glad this isn't my job.
Oh God. Oh my gosh. I remember when Bo was little and Aaron left and I was like, we had this like corner window where I could look out and see when the cars are coming back. I was just standing there with this baby. And I was like, you can't do anything. This baby can't do anything. I don't know what is going on here.
The fact
And
that
I'm
my
just looking there just like,
Please come home. Please come home.
What is she doing? She's been at the gym like 90 minutes. This is ridiculous. I don't know what's happening here. What is she, in the sauna?
We forget how
Women are incredible.
Incredible women are. My wife does so much with these 2 kids we've got, Corbin and Monday. It's so much work. So you guys are done, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're done.
What an answer, bro.
Yeah, we're done.
You know what? Hey, Bobby and Eric, I need you guys to come over here real fast. I need you guys to both come on camera. We're going to sing Jamil a happy birthday. Everybody, in closing.
Everybody in your
rooms.
Send the energy.
If you're at work, at your security guard, I don't care where you are. Okay. Wherever you guys are. Jamil, come stand in the middle. Okay. Everybody, let's sing it. We got to hear you too, Eric.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jamil. Happy birthday to you. Yay!
Wholesale Hotline 148. We
Wholesale Hotline.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.